Okay, right about now, folks, 15 minutes down after the 4 o'clock hour, Klass FM 92.9, and as I would have mentioned today, this morning on the morning program during the newscast here, that we were gearing up for a Cxc engagement. Of course, by now you've heard that Cxc will be releasing the official results tomorrow here in Anguilla, and we have an island, a contingent of officials from Cxc in our country, and the registrars here. Mr. Wesley is in Anguilla. Also, a very popular name that lots of us hear in the newscast all the time. Nicole, she's also here as well, and the others are here. So I'll go across with my guests. Let me say a pleasant good afternoon to you. Welcome to Klass FM. Welcome to Anguilla.
Thank you very much, and it's great being here in Anguilla. We are enjoying the hospitality of the government and people of Anguilla. Great island.
For sure, and you're not your first time here for sure. You've been here.
Oh, well, this is my first time.
First time
yeah.
to Anguilla.
Yes.
And your impressions of Anguilla, I mean, for first
tranquility,
time
calmness, you know.
Okay.
I like the rush hour traffic.
You love rush hour traffic?
Yeah, man, we would love to have that where we are.
I mean, it's not as stiff, but it's not that.
You have it easy going. You know.
All right, I love to hear that.
Quite a place to relax.
All right. And again, this lady here, good afternoon to you, ma'am. Good afternoon. You never again, please?
Good afternoon, Nicole Manning, Director of Operations.
That's Cxc here. All right. So let's get down to it right away. You're in Anguilla for a very special and a very auspicious occasion tomorrow, right? It is the release of the...
Yes, we are here to release the official release of the Caribbean Examinations Council examinations results, and students right across the region are currently anxiously awaiting to see how they perform. So we officially do that through our member states, and this year we have selected Anguilla, who have been very good to us in hosting us and making sure tomorrow's session will go smoothly. So we are looking forward to the engagement tomorrow. Your own education minister will be our keynote speaker, speaking on the accomplishment here. And of course, we will present the results in general across the region and how Anguilla actually did in relation to the region with some of those subjects, you know. So yes.
All right. I don't wish to really to circumvent anything or to get a cat out of the bag. But in terms of performances here across the region, how would you describe our students' performance in the Cxc examinations?
Generally, majority of the subject actually, and Dr. Manning can speak better to this than I can, but majority of the subject recorded an increase in performance. There are a couple of subjects that recorded decline in performance, some things that we have to look at, but in general there has been general improvement in the results.
And the results, and Dr. Manning.
Yes, so we would say that tomorrow the students and their parents not being too anxious, but of course understanding that we did see some improvements, and we're happy to have seen that.
Okay, and how many students would have sat the exams right across our region, the Cxc region?
So for CAPE and CSEC, over 600,000 subject entries. That means you may have had over 100,000 candidates sitting, but they sat different subjects. So that's predominantly CSEC and CAPE, but including the other products, we would say about 650.
Okay, all right. And Dr. Wesley, I've been in the news and I've been checking what happens, and you've expressed, both you and Dr. Manning here, but I've expressed concern about English and math over the years. I've been looking at that. Are we seeing improvements in this year's results?
Well, I'll put it this way, that we are not just looking at a one-shot exam.
Yes.
We're looking at a trend. Is the trend going upwards? And yes, the trend is moving upwards, and we want that to continue. Of course, English language tend to have a higher performance than mathematics, and so we expect that trend to continue in terms of the results for tomorrow.
Okay, and tomorrow afternoon, this event kicks off what time? Tomorrow starts at
10
at 10 a.m. In terms of the format of tomorrow's operations, walk me through that, please. It will commence at 10 o'clock in the morning. You'll be speaking there.
Yeah, well, so this is what we do every year, and we normally have opening from the permanent secretary here, and of course I will speak, Nicole Manning will speak on the performance of the results. The minister will be our keynote speaker that will speak on developments here and how that fits within the construct of regional educational development. We'll be talking about our new and innovative product, which is CTEC, that we have piloted for the very first time this year. CTEC is actually our Caribbean Targeted Education Certificate, which gives students an opportunity to write the examination over 3 modules. So it is the newest qualification from Cxc. It's our micro-credential that adds a lot of flexibility, but allows students to obtain their full certification using a stackable progressive approach. Going forward. So yes, that is going to be exciting for us tomorrow, because we are going to be presenting the results from the pilot and the possibility that exists with all of that, and how it can be one of the approach that we use to treat with mathematics and other subjects across the region. As I said to our group earlier, that this is not the panacea, but certainly it's one aspect of us moving in the right direction.
Okay. In terms of buy-in, I know that SBAs have been around for a long time. I sat SBAs myself over the years, and we would have heard that we are about to discontinue those and replace with something else. I would have seen that as well in the newscast. How is the buy-in though from regional governments as to the way forward?
Well, first, and I'll let Nicole give you some elaboration on that, but first I want to correct the notion that we are not discontinuing SBA. Okay. What we are doing is reforming the SBA. Okay. If you can recall, when calculators just came out, you have to rethink how you're going to assess, because persons were saying, well, with calculators, put the numbers in and you get the logarithm of whatever, right? But AI has become the proverbial straw that brought the camel back, and so we are now looking at reforming our SBA so that we properly account for how AI can be responsibly used by students, and at the same time us being able to protect the integrity of the examination as we allow students to demonstrate their actual competence and not AI competence, right? So those are some of the things that we are contemplating. Now, the reform that we are talking about is not just the SBA, it's the entire assessment repertoire that we have at Cxc. How can we now rethink how assessment should be done within the era of AI and what it means, right? We have not shied away from AI. We have been at the forefront in the region, one of the first entities within the region to approve a responsible generative AI policy framework for the education system across the region, for which we have passed on to all member states for them to develop their national policy, accounting for all aspects of AI, from teacher to students to assessment to teaching to learning, integrity issues, all those things we have covered, performance judgment and assessment and all of that. So we have done all of that work to help the system adjust to this new era of AI and what it has to do for students' learning. And so we are not averse to it. So our reform and not doing away with, because there are some subjects that we continue to offer SBAs. We have used an alternate approach now for those subjects for which AI is having the most impact, where somebody can just put in an entire question in the AI software and generate an entire report. And they are not learning from that process, because what we want them to do is to be able to do something, get the feedback, and come back and show that we have learned from that experience. So we continue to work with the region. So I just want to put it out there. We are not discontinuing SBA. We are reforming SBA within the context of AI and its influence. Dr. Manning can perhaps add if you want.
So just to add a little bit, you had mentioned about the thoughts of the regional governments. Just to note that the Caribbean Examinations Council's Board of Governors are made up of the members of the Ministries of Education. Also, we do have teachers, principals, and so on. We have representation across the region. So the approval in relation to the way forward would have come from that collective group. So the Caribbean Examinations Council also used a consultative approach to understand what was happening. Of course, we have been looking at this for over 2 years, trying to support the system, as Dr. Wesley mentioned, the policy framework, but we also did a standards and guidelines for the use of generative AI in assessment. So in assisting the region in managing the use of generative AI and understanding not only the school-based assessment but generally, we have been providing that support. So we also spoke directly to educators. So we had about 77% of our educators agreeing to the move in terms of the introduction of the wider use of the alternate paper 3-2 to the SBA. That has always been around. It's a part of CXC's design, and so it's the wider use of it in the schools, because the alternate paper 3-2 was predominantly used for private candidates, but we are now looking to include it in the schools, and it's particularly for the non-practical based subjects, so the English, the math, the business subjects, and so on. There is actually, and that's why we use the word reform, because while you have an increase in some of the utilization in some other areas. So for example, let us say for the sciences, the private candidates never did an SBA, they did the alternate paper 3-2. We are asking that they do the SBA for the sciences. And so it's important to understand that for the chemistry, physics, all of those subjects. So it was 77% for the CSEC saying, yes, let's go this route, and 76% for CAPE agreeing to go this direction also. We are cognizant, and it's important for your listeners to also understand that the CSEC is managed over a 2-year period, meaning it's implemented over a 2-year period, while CAPE is done in 1 year, and that's why we're able to roll out the CAPE in 1 year. So the candidates do in 2027 for those non-practical based subjects will do those in 2027 for the alternate paper 3-2, and for the CSEC they have a choice. So the center will decide, the school will decide whether to do the SBA in 2027 or to switch over to the alternate paper 3-2 in 2027 for CSEC. Right. The last thing I would want to just say here to give some clarity to is that the fact that not the modern languages has not changed. You have other subjects like family resource management, so quite a few subjects. There are no changes to the school-based assessment at all.
All right, so we are ahead of the AI curve, it seems, in the Caribbean, right? We are in step with the curve, we're getting ahead of the curve, right? It seems so to me. That's how it sounds to me.
Yes. Yes, we are actually trying to maintain focus.
Yes.
I mean, the AI is changing so much over the years that you can't necessarily say that you're always ahead, right? But we have certainly put policies and structures in place to help us manage that process of transitioning. The challenge is right across the region. We are at varying levels of maturity with our digital infrastructure, and so some member states will have greater access than others. And so how do we balance that with what we want to achieve in education right across the region? Because, you know, anything CXC does, it's for the entire region, not just one member state. A member state can decide, okay, this is what we're doing for our country, but whenever we decide on anything, we have to remember all member states will have to be considered. And so in that regard, that is why we developed the policy framework document. We are trying to keep ourselves ahead of the game, or at least put us in a position to be able to say, this is what we can do as a region. And hence, we have decided we are putting together a task force on the reform of assessment across the region, which will involve all ministries of education and technical experts that we have in-house and external, to make sure that we get it right. So that once you are implementing this activity, because, you know, every time there's a change, there's always some amount of apprehension. But if we have consensus on how this should be done, it makes implementation a lot easier. in terms of communicating and acceptance from the public.
All right. Now, you spoke earlier about the new certification models that you're working on, for the Caribbean Citizens Transform. Well, I would have seen that earlier sometime today during my research that there's a new model coming out right now. We're going to turn those skills into kind of competence into recognized qualifications. I would have gotten that today. Today, really, just today I would have seen that. That seemed exciting, really and truly. And a bit about that, the rationale behind that move now by CXC. Tell me.
All right. So we have looked at our learning philosophy, and of course, the learner is always at the center. And at the center of this philosophy, there are 3 dimensions to the learner that we have now considered: that of learning preferences, learning rate, and learning depth. Each student will have a different kind of profile characterizing how they learn and how they interact with material. Now, because of that new profile, we have now looked back at our offerings, and that new innovation that we are calling CTech is recognizing that students learn differently. Students can absorb content at a different pace. How do we now allow for our assessment to accommodate a student based on where they are in their learning? This will give students the opportunity to build their own learner profile. Digital wallet, Nicole is always on us creating a digital wallet of students with their qualification in varying areas. So what we have essentially done is to take the full standard CSEC or CAPE, and we have broken those subjects down into micro-credentials. So those micro-credentials are defined by modules: Module 1, Module 2, Module 3. So for example, in mathematics, which is what we have just piloted, we have broken down that syllabus into 3 micro-credentials: Module 1, Module 2, and Module 3. Once students have completed all 3 modules, they will be issued their full CTech certification. Now, the modular approach allows students to move at their own pace, or determine how much content I can manage at this particular time, because some student might decide I'm doing Module 1 and Module 2. Some might just say I'm doing Module 1. Some might just say of that subject, I don't need the entire subject. I just need to know, for example, in business, I need to know entrepreneurship. I just take the entrepreneurial module. Or somebody might be working in the hospitality industry and say, listen to me, even though I'm an accountant here, I would love to do Module 1 in Spanish, because a lot of Spanish-speaking persons come to this hotel, and I would be able to interact with them. How do I get the requisite skills to at least have small talk? Hello, ¿cómo está? Muy bien, yeah. Okay. So the idea behind the module is to cater to those 3 dimensions of the learner: their preference, their rate, and the amount of information they can consume at any one time. Once students, and I must say that this is at the same standard as CSEC. It's not a lower standard or a higher standard. It's the same standard. In fact, the questions that students write in the modules are the very same questions students are writing in CSEC. It's just that CSEC students are doing the entire thing one time, and others have decided to move. That gives us a lot of flexibility, not only in terms of students' progress, but also the schools to be able to timetable and cater for different categories of students based on what they're doing. Also, students can use this as an opportunity to start early, to build their credit, because that stackability, where you get Module 1, then you go do Module 2, and you stack them until you get all 3 modules to be awarded the full certification, is quite an innovative way to begin to recognize that all our students are individuals, and they do have their own individual preferences.
Okay, and Dr. Manning, just for clarity, thank you for that, Dr. Wesley. For clarity in terms of product development, the module development, again, how do we go about creating these products, models again, because these are great ideas? How do we go? Whether we explore, we go on a broad base, or we can engage member countries? How do we go about these things?
So yes, for syllabus development, we generally engage member countries, but I want to highlight that we have our examining committees also, and those persons are persons from the higher level, the tertiary level, and so you have a combination of individuals. The examining committees are not from the secondary school system. So we are looking for 2 things here. We are looking for persons who are technical individuals within the particular subject area, and you have combinations of those persons that make up, that actually look at the design of the syllabus and the assessment component. Very important to note, as Dr. Wesley mentioned earlier, is the equivalence of this for CSEC and the CTEC as it being modularized, and also for the fact that it's benchmarked, therefore means that it's acceptance, similar to how CSEC is accepted throughout the internationally. The CTEC will also be accepted, and this is a conversation we have been having with our credential evaluators, because it's important to understand that these are the individuals evaluating the CSEC, the CAPE qualifications for candidates to enter universities. And so we are expecting, similar to the higher education institutions, that employers will also find value in these modules, as mentioned, because it's more targeted, as the name suggests, in terms of the particular area of interest, both for the candidate and for the employer. So the benchmarking is one, and the acceptance is another, and they both come together to help that candidate to understand that they are receiving a comparable qualification that will help them to move throughout the region and internationally, portability. So that those two are very important, and we must say all of this is to maintain the quality, and for persons to understand Cxc does operate, yes, within its own framework, but also in line with international standards.
Good. Wednesday, anything you wish to add to that, Dr. Wesley?
No, I think that pretty much covers what we're doing with the Caribbean Targeted Education Certificate. It's a new innovation from Cxc, and we're excited about it because it has a lot of potential to assist students in not only self-actualizing, but give the kind of flexibility and assurance to our employers that the students who are coming, knows precisely what they're coming with now. The presentation of the results via module gives greater information to the employer than it is now that with the profile that we give. Could we just say profile, knowledge, comprehension, but what that is, right? But with the modules, now they will have specific content that students have mastered, and they know exactly what a student can do once they come to them. Okay, we're pressing for time now, 2 minutes before 5. In terms of absenteeism, I know that some time back as well, I've been following Cxc intently for a long time, and also would have heard you mention Dr. Nichols, I'm sure, would have been expressing concern across the region about absenteeism. Has that improved for us? Has it been improving for us? How's it going?
So I'll say yes, the absenteeism has reduced, but the Caribbean Examinations Council understands the duty of care that needs to be administered with our students. Now, our students this is our future, and so it's important to give every single one of them a chance. Being absent means that you're going to be ungraded, and we cannot afford that. So we are expressing and will be emphasizing and continue to emphasize, and we are asking everyone, every parent, every community leader, every friend, to encourage our candidates to turn up. It's very important, because without that, they will not have an opportunity. But we are happy to say it has reduced, not to the extent we want to see it. We would love to see it cut in half. So we have seen reductions like 400 in absenteeism. That's not what Cxc wants. Cxc wants actually no candidate to be absent from an exam. But reality, we understand it will take time, but together, if the region, we want to encourage everyone to come together as a Caribbean community to help our candidates to understand the value of showing up.
Okay, and Dr. Wesley and also Dr. Manning, in terms of these official launches, I know tomorrow it will be Angola's turn, for the official unveiling of the results, and the rationale behind moving to the islands to have these grand occasions, pump and flare. What's the rationale behind these events?
So I'll start, and Dr. Wesley, I know, is very passionate on this. Will definitely speak on it too. The Caribbean Examinations Council, for us, stakeholder relationship is very big. Very important. Every student, every parent, every guardian, every educator is important to us. And so it doesn't matter the size. We are not into the business of size. We are one Caribbean, and hence CXC represents that one. We believe CXC represents that one Caribbean, and as such, we would want to ensure that Anguillans, Guyanese, Kititians, whoever you are, wherever you are, get that opportunity to understand deeper that relationship. So actually being on the ground, we would not be having probably this even interview and the opportunity to engage your stakeholders. So with our visit, it's not about the launch, the official release of results only. We actually engage our stakeholders on the ground. We have several meetings. I think we have over 10 or so meetings. Yes, today alone we had quite a few. And this means we're hearing the voice of all of our stakeholders. And no voice at all is ignored. And so it's important for us to understand, because sometimes when you have a regional engagement, it's the loudest voice that you hear. But when you have a national engagement, then you hear the voices of those in the nation.
Thank you, Dr. Manning, and Dr. Wesley.
Hello. Well, just to concur that CXC has just completed its new strategic plan, within which we have taken on the role of an activist, and activism as a regional innovation catalyst for educational transformation. One that will see us taking on the aspect of being seen, heard, and served. Seen, showing up professionally and responsibly, like we're doing now, presence in a country, engaging individuals and speaking to them about matters of importance to them, so that our work can account for their particular nuance that exist in their own education system. And then heard, providing deliberate advocacy and targeted communication for individuals that we need to represent. Advocacy on all levels for numeracy and literacy to be central to primary education, so that by the time they get to secondary education, are they ready to move? Because once somebody is literate and numerate, they can learn anything else. And so that's a part of our strategy. And then served, we are here to provide the region with information that will help them make strong decisions, right? How to improve the education system, because we do have a lot of data at the Caribbean Examination Council based on performance. I mean, that can be enhanced in other ways, and we will talk about that at another time. But the idea is that we are not just here because we just want to offer another examination. We are here because we see ourselves as an important part of the fabric of economic development within the region. We facilitate human capital development, and if we are doing that, then we must also engage those who we serve. And so as the activist institution now that is seen or presenting ourselves as a regional innovation catalyst for educational transformation, we want to make sure that what we are doing resonate with the people, and how to do that best is to engage as we enter all member states.
One last question for you, and I listened to Dr. Manning earlier, and yourself spoke about engagements on the regional level, governments to support, and the boards that meet on a regular basis. Is there anything though that additional that you would need governments across the region to support you on? Anything that is out there that is still a little bit out, really beyond the reach right now, that you would want support on? From governments, isn't it? You have full support?
Well, I must say that the Caribbean Examination Council enjoys the full confidence and support of the governments of the region. I guess that's why we continue to exist, because they are the ones who support us. As with any organization, and everyone will always ask for more resources, because you want to do a lot more.
You want some resources.
Yes, you know, many of the governments, they have already prioritized education. Some have really given a lot of resources, particularly in the area of technical vocational education and training, because of skills and competency development. We have made ourselves available to governments. Whatever you're doing, we will come in and partner with you to offer certification in areas that are of national importance. So the governments across the region, they are in support. They have been making the effort to ensure that through their ministries of education, the resources are provided. Some governments are more able to move quickly than others, but I think generally there is the feeling that the governments are serious about education and want to help. I think what comes into play, though, is the reality about we have this pie and how best to share it, and sometimes that can cause you not to get all the resources you want. But I think there's a commitment, and that commitment has always been shown to the Caribbean Examinations Council.
Yeah, and our global standing, I know lots of our children in Anguilla, they access tertiary education, higher levels than in the UK, the USA, and appear as if CSC.
I'm happy you said that.
It's really a stellar entity across the world. I've come to that realization.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our qualification is accepted internationally. There's no territory in the world that you would go to study and they would not accept our CAPE and CSEC subjects for entry.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. All right. So, well, I'll end it here. I know you haven't had a long.
In fact, just a last plug here, just before you go, because many persons don't know this, but Cxc, apart from our CSEC and CAPE and CTEC that we are coming out with, we do offer associate degrees and diplomas and certificate. If you complete a certain number of CAPE subjects, you are eligible, and all that information is on our website. I would invite persons to go and look at it. But if you complete at the number of credits, 10 CAPE subjects, you can get an associate degree. And in several cases, that associate degree can give you a 2+2 kind of entry into university, right, that accepts it. So it might be even a more affordable way for persons to at least have their secondary level qualification, at least the associate degree level.
But that would need some more promotion.
Yes.
My first time hearing is now, really.
Exactly.
So maybe
I figured
amplify that some more,
So persons to know that you can actually get an associate degree or a diploma, depending on the combination of subjects.
All right. Well, it seems to be a very exciting world at Cxc. It seems education and helping to advance our children, the nation's, the Caribbean's children, young students to achieve their full potential. That's very great, a great idea. And of course, we've named very powerful things across the region for the last how many decades now? CXC is,
next year we'll be celebrating 55 years.
55 years.
So this year we're 54. Next year 55.
All right. So, Dr. Wesley, I want to thank you for coming in. And Dr. Wesley, he was the Cxc registrar, really. And also, and Dr. Nicole Manning, you are the Director of Operations as well. Well, thank you and wish you, continued enjoyment of your stay in Anguilla. And I know you're here on a working mission, but please, again, please take time out to enjoy some of Anguilla while you're here, a bit more of Anguilla. And I wish you a great result launch tomorrow as well, okay? All the best to you guys, okay?
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Pleasure being here.
All right. I look forward to speaking to you again. I have some more for you, but not today. At another time, so I'll set things up with the Ministry of Education here. I can engage you guys one more time, okay?
Yes.
All right. Take care, sir. Okay. All right. So, class of from here in the afternoon time, folks, and we're now here at 12 minutes now before 5. That's the time, and I'm sure you had a very interesting session here, and of course tomorrow at 10 will be the official launch of the results, and of course Anguilla, all the students are holding they're waiting their breaths, and they're holding their seats waiting for the results as well. So all the best. Class of from here in the afternoon time.
Looking for delicious Caribbean cuisine on Anguilla? Look no further. Ruthie's Yum Yum Restaurant Little Dix is the go-to spot for the best Anguillan and Caribbean dishes on the island. We carry a varied and exciting menu. Try our Caesar salad, Ruthie's chicken salad, pineapple olive, arugula and feta salad, burgers and more burgers and sandwiches, cheeseburgers, big time burgers, fish sandwiches, chicken sandwiches, veggie burgers served with fries, and of course for the pasta lovers, our chicken, shrimp, fish, steak and veggie pasta is a must. Absolutely the best fried chicken wings to be found anywhere. Be sure to ask for our Yum Yum signature sauce. It's delicious. Crunchy corn balls, chicken spring rolls and golden saltfish bombs. Ruthie's signature meals are a must. We also carry pizzas in small, medium and larger sizes with your favorite toppings, milkshakes and Ruthie's famous lemonades in a wide assortment of flavors. We're open from 12 noon until. To place orders or for more information, call 729-5530 or 583-5530. Ruthie's Yum Yum Restaurant on the Little Dix Road is a must-stop for all your local and Caribbean meals.
That sweet harmony, you say you love me. Show me now. Wind up your body, turn it around. You say you need me.
But Sharon, Where you going in such a hurry? The sun just rise.
But John, you ain't hear NCBA got promotion going on? Where them asking you to come and update your records?
I don't understand. But tell me why them need all the correct information for?
When my grandson went NCB in the valley yesterday, and he said to tell him that we need to update our information with the bank so them could have the correct information for us.
But why them need to have all this correct information for?
But John, you ain't listening. Them need to make sure them got my updated passport, driver's license, a proof of my address, my correct email address and phone number. You know how we just like to change our numbers if people harassing us, but we gotta make sure the bank got the right number for sure, cause that's where my money be. So I gotta make sure them can get me whenever them try to reach me, and my ID is up to date.
But Sharon, it's a good thing I meet up on you this morning. I go in here pick up a few things down from by Ashley and maybe John Proctor's, and then I going straight by the bank to get more information on this to see what really going on here at NCBA. Cause I want to make sure I am straight and I ready.
NCBA, committed and leading the way. Visit any of our branches for assistance or email us at customerupdate@ncbal.com for more information.
I wanna go back to my life.